In another video there, we talked about passion. I spoke about what happened when I followed my passion and some other people did, and the ways that it can go wrong. The title of the video was something like, you should not stop following your passion. In the video today, I want to follow up on that and talk about a question that when I started to ask myself, it gave me much more clarity that the idea of following my passions, following my interests, never gave me. That's, of course, the subject of the video today, that question, the ways you could go about answering it, why it is important to ask this question. And at the end, we'll look at some small tips and personal stories. So this question is something you might already have read, heard, or have seen some varieties of it. That doesn't matter. What matters is how we go about answering it. How deep will we go? And what do we discover through this question? And the question is this: if money was no issue at all, what would you do? How would your days look like, your activities? You wouldn't, of course, have a job, you would do work. But what would you do? When I ask myself this question, there were, and if I ask it myself today, I think at any time we ask this, there are always many superficial answers that pop up. Oh, I would do this. For me, travel was always something I enjoyed a lot. So it would be traveling, seeing the whole world, going to this place I wanted to visit, doing this thing. So it was more like activities. And then it was, okay, I have been on, I have traveled before, and I know after a while I'm thinking, okay, how can I do something, the sense of I want to do, I want to create, I want to, so then I would ask myself, okay, if I have done all of that, what would I do then? And the answer was this institute that I always wanted to make. I would, start creating that. And okay, let's say that you made that. I would then ask myself, how would your days look like? What you will be doing then? And the answer surprised me. It was, if all of this was done and was running, and I would love to discover the possibility of life, of conscious life. Not what life is per se, because I don't think everything we say would be one story we tell today, but what can life be? Exploring life, basically, and exploring philosophy, exploring spirituality, exploring literature, poetry, writing. And the reason I said this surprised me, because when I really looked at it, I could see, hey, if I change my lifestyle a bit, I might be able to do these things now, or maybe in a half a year or something. I don't need to go and do, to just have this big, huge illusion of, oh, I had a studio, a creative studio in Rotterdam back then. And okay, if this happens, then that, and then that. So that surprised me. And within a couple of months, I already started. I left everything, I sold everything, and I just left. And I went to the countries that it was easier to live on less money. I changed many things about my lifestyle. And I managed to do all of that I wanted to do one day. And I've been doing that for, I left in 2016, so it's now 22. But especially the past 3-4 years, it has been just this flow with these ideas, doing what I wanted to do back then. And this is why I said it is important how we answer it. Because the answer we give to this question, it should not be about the pleasures. Pleasures, we know how they work. Pleasures are these mechanisms that keep us in a hedonic treadmill, like this rat race. That's what pleasure can do. Pleasure is this triggered in your mind. It's a memory of something your mind has. And it wants more of that because it made you survive. So let's have more of it. And anticipation to that releases dopamine, which is dopamine, this neurotransmitter that gives a very good feeling and a motivation and drive. This is released actually in anticipation to these pleasures. And when we have something, it is like the evolution has this dagger that just pierces the heart. When you have something, and now you feel empty. Now you feel this lack of dopamine. And now you need to go for the next step and next step and next step. And it is good that it is there, because otherwise we would have one meal in our lives and just die because we were fulfilled. So pleasure has its own place. But what are we going to do in life if money was not issue? If you go through all of these scenarios and you work it out for yourself, okay, what would I do then and then? Maybe you find something surprising. And if you did, by the way, let me know, because I love to hear it. And I know other people who did that too, who had ideas about, I have to build this and do this company and this business. And when they started to ask themselves, but what would I be doing then? And they started to doing exactly that, because they found that it was already possible. So yes, this question can be very powerful because it can reveal to us what actually truly matters. It also connects us with what brings us alive, with a compass that does not lie to us. It prevents us from giving our lives to some ideas that mostly are implanted in our mind, and instead asking ourselves, what would I be doing? Because most of us never stop in our lives to ask this very important question. We are just take everything given, that we need to chase this and we need to be in this rat race. We need to be on this treadmill. If we stop, everything's going to fall apart. Sometimes we just need to ask if that is so. I hope this was hopeful. Helpful. Yes, that's what I hope. Thank you for watching.